which is requiring to use my phone for the stream. And I'm using this little lapel mic so that I can show you what I'm doing on the computer and hopefully be able to flip this around. I wanted to tell you what kind of gear I'm using and just in general how I record these videos each week. So if you like videos like these, please let me know down below. I might be able to chat with you guys by opening it up on the computer as well. I'll have to see if that works. Hi Seth, how's it going? So I know a lot of you guys have asked me just kind of like along the way what I do to record my videos. And please let me know in the chat too if the audio is good on this one, because I know I'm using a different method. I'm using this microphone on my shirt. Let me know if that mic is working or if it's the phone picking it up. Here I'm going to touch the mic and you'll just let me know if it's this mic or if it's this mic. The audio is great. That's good to hear. So either way, the audio is great. So awesome. Thanks, Nowix. Appreciate it. So first, I just wanted to talk about what I like to use. Right now I'm recording with a Samsung phone, so it seems like it might actually do a pretty good job, and I've got it in my ring light. So I have a, you can probably see in my eyes that I'm using a ring light, but it's a newer, N-E-W-E-R, ring light. So that's kind of what I'm using for the lighting. And then, and I'm going to include a link on this, I think, after I do the video, to a lot of the stuff that I use, just so that you'll have that. There might be Amazon affiliate links in there if you're interested in that. And, you know, Amazon links are where I can make a commission off that. So just so you guys know, but this is the microphone I usually use for the live stream. So it's a totally different thing. But I usually use this for any time I have to record in a video. So if y'all watch the Sweet Home Alabama video, I was using this mic to sing into as well. And that's a Perception 120 by AKG. I think they're not blue anymore. They have like a model that's black. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact microphone. And then part of the reason I'm using the phone is so I can like unplug things and hold things up and show you. This is my interface that I use. I'll just unplug things from it. So that's the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. So it's not the best thing in the world in that I can only do pretty much one track at a time. You can kind of get it to do 2 tracks if you do 2 mono tracks and then turn them into stereo later on the computer, but it's just a little bit of an extra hassle. But you can technically record 2 tracks at the same time with that. So I could record a microphone and something plugged in at the same time. And so normally on my videos, now I'm using the Canon to record the actual video footage. So what I'm going to try to do today is probably just make up a song and record it and then show you how I put it together on the computer, what software I'm using, what hardware I'm using, and if that's interesting to you, then that's great. If it's not, then I totally understand, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to just peel back the curtains and show you kind of what's going on in here. So this is the Canon M50. That's what I'm using. And I like the camera, it's pretty good. And then just for the record, my computer is a, what is this thing called? An Omen, an HP Omen computer. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, cool. So you're doing some classical stuff. I wonder if I could arrange a classical song instead of writing a song today. What would that be like? Oh, I forgot to do airplane mode and do Wi-Fi. Oh well. So what I'll probably do is just come up with something simple on the ukulele, and I might, if I can get enough room on the desk, I might be able to lower this down a little bit so that you guys can see what's going on. Okay, I gotta remember not to keep hitting the microphone because I'm sure that's scratching. How does the ukulele sound through the mic? Good, okay. So I might just make up some short little thing. I'm gonna try to keep it easy so that this isn't like super tricky. Okay. And so basically what I'm gonna do is just take whatever amp cord that I have lying around, so guitar cable, I'm just gonna plug it into my Focusrite. And actually, I don't usually go in this order, but I mean, I guess I have to arrange a song first usually. So I come up with the writing, and then really before I record, I actually tab it out, right? So, so I'm going to show you how I do that on Guitar Pro, and hopefully this won't take way too long. I know it's kind of like it's a lot of stuff to try to do in a video just to kind of show you guys how. So I'm going to try to make the song like super duper short to make it easier. Do like a Simon and Garfunkel. I don't want to make it too hard because then we'll be sitting here for me trying to get the take right for like 20 tries. So it probably won't be anything quite as cool as Scarborough Affair, but that's a good suggestion. That might be a cool arrangement to do at some point. Anyway, so let's see. All right, so when I go to record, I'm going to use the tripod, but right now I'm not. So I know y'all can't see it right now, which is kind of on purpose, but I have like a giant spaghetti monster on the floor of cables. Not super organized when it comes to that. So now we just got to see how the computer screen looks when I'm aimed at it from here. Okay, so the computer screen looks like that. I might have to angle it differently to get it to look right. There we go. So that's my desk. When I turn it around here, I'll probably be, yeah, that's not too bad. You can still see me. Okay, so first I'd come up with something. Maybe we'll make it really easy, like, but should I start with the ukulele or should I start with the U-bass? What do you guys think? I'm gonna let you kind of help guide me a little bit. Yeah, so there's a lot of cables on the ground. Right now I have even more because I have to have my phone plugged in order to keep this going. So we're gonna start with the U-bass. Okay, that's a good call. Okay, so I might still have a chord progression in mind or something, but we'll just make up a line. Round wound strings, flat wound strings, or rubber. What are we gonna do? And hopefully these little things where people are introducing. Oh no, Robert says uke. Seth says uke too. Oh no. 1, 2, and then the flats. So what I might do is I might start with ukulele because of kind of trying to be diplomatic here. But what I'll do is I'll start with the ukulele and do something kind of simple with it. But I will use the flats when I get to the U-bass, since you mentioned that first. So that way everybody's kind of like helping a little bit and dictating what I'm doing. So I'm going to keep it simple on the ukulele. I might do something like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's not really that funky or anything. So the bass line will probably be kind of boring against that. So the idea is, hopefully I can make this video and then post it up separately so that you guys can see the final product after that. So I'm going to keep looking at the chat. Here comes the sun. Yeah, so I work with a guy named Andrew on rockclass101.com. He did an arrangement of Here Comes the Sun, so that's the reason I actually had a little bit of that to play. Is it? Yeah, but you get the idea. I forgot the... Yeah. But, yeah, so shout out to him if you are a ukulele player. Check out Rock Class 101. There's a YouTube channel. There's also a website with membership stuff, and I do guest U-bass lessons on there sometimes, and sometimes guest ukulele lessons for some kind of simple stuff. So what kind of song do you guys want to hear? Do you want it to be more like finger-picked, classical kind of thing, or do you want to... So I don't want to do a song that actually exists right now. I kind of just want to keep it original, but it could be kind of Beatles-esque if you guys want. What do you guys say? So I hear like Beatles. I kind of want a melody on top of this, so I'm just going to try to write something pretty simple. Here's how I write or arrange. So if I'm arranging, I go over to the computer and I pull up YouTube and I pull up like a version of the song on here. Oh my gosh, it's weird. It's like it's showing me the live video on here even though I'm doing it from my channel. So that's kind of strange. I guess you can do that. Be on your channel from 2 different places and watch yourself. But I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, I could, you know, pick out a song here, listen to it, and use the stuff that I taught you guys from the ear training lesson and the how to learn songs on the spot lesson. So I could use all that to arrange and kind of like make things work, or I could just start from scratch. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna minimize the YouTube stuff and go to Guitar Pro. Okay, so if you don't know about Guitar Pro, it'll click on it eventually. It'll open, takes a little while to load. But basically Guitar Pro is something you have to pay for. It's not a free software. Let me move this mic out of the way. And it's cool. But it's essentially going to be like a short tutorial on Guitar Pro right now. This is Guitar Pro 7.5. Whoa. So I go over here to File, New, and it gives me this option. So I wish I could zoom in. I don't think I can zoom in with the live stream going. So I'll just like move it closer. But I don't know if you can read all the stuff that's on that screen or not. But it gives me the options. I already have it set to bass, so it saved my settings from like the last time, so the default is just that. So I go to, you know, set it to string, set to bass, then over there it says acoustic, because the playback for the acoustic bass sounds the most like some sort of U-bass. And then I change the name over here in this little drop-down menu. Instead of saying acoustic bass, I change it to U-bass, so that way on the sheet music it comes up as U-bass. Boom, U-bass. So I click OK and I make the thing. Why don't we keep it in C? Okay, well that's pretty easy. So I'm gonna, let's see. So I did a C chord first. So then literally what I do, and I know this is kind of weird. Maybe I can get my face halfway in there while I'm doing this. So literally what I'll do is, so I've got that little idea. So I'm thinking that's 1, 2, 3, and a 4, right? 1, and I might add notes in between. Maybe that. I don't know if I like that. So anyway, I know I'm going to start with the C chord. So, oh wait, I forgot, I'm doing ukulele. So instead of doing U-bass first, now it's going to end up on the bottom because I did this out of order. I'm going to go to track, I'm going to add, and then I'm going to go here to other. We're going to do ukulele. So right there it says uke in the corner. Over here it says C tuning. This is a low G, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose the drop down menu there, and it plays a little sound effect. So I've got that, the low G. So that added the track, but it made a separate page for it. I want to see them both at the same time. So I'm going to go to View, Multi-Track. Okay, so let's take that away, and let's just go down to the ukulele now. So a C chord. So let's see. Let's see. I think I like that. I'm not sure what that hammer on pull-up thing. That might make it too complicated. What do you guys think? Anybody in the chat talking? Okay, let's see what we got here. Are you uploading this later? I want to do this with my friend. She plays, and you can make the U-bass. Okay, yeah, so the plan is I'm going to record this, and then once I make the video, I'll probably just upload it tomorrow or something. But this will, this video, the live stream will remain up. Okay, so weirdly precise timing. That's funny. So yeah, so let's do. Yeah. Something like that. I want to make it easy enough for me to actually be able to play it when the time comes. So also I'm also going to wear my glasses so I can see the dang screen. So blum bum 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 ba da dun dun. Maybe it should be. Yeah, let's do that. 3 and a 4. So blum, we'll do a C note in between instead of a G note. And these are eighth notes, so you can see I already did these as quarter notes. Maybe you can't see, but I made them quarter notes by mistake. So we've got 1 and 2 and, so I can just go over here and click an eighth note while I have the note highlighted that I want to change to an eighth note. So that changed that first chord to eighth notes, the second note to an eighth note, the third note to an eighth note. So dun, 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 and then an open. So I'm gonna go ahead and save it just because I know sometimes my computer can crash and you never know when that's gonna happen. So I'll save that. And what do we want to call this song? You guys want to name it? Something like that. So what does that kind of make you think of if we were looking at the sound? Stephen's Uke-tastic opus. Ooh, By the River. I like By the River. That sounds kind of cool. Let's do that. Okay, so now we got a name for things. We're going way too far in depth with this for just giving you the idea of how I make the videos, but why not? Maybe we'll end up with something cool at the end of it. Okay, so dun 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 da da da. So that's a hammer on pull off thing. Okay, so the hammer on pull off thing's here, so I just click that after clicking the note. So, and then, oh, those were supposed to be 16th notes. I forgot to change this to 16th notes first, so I'll go and change them all to 16th notes after the fact. Da da da. Now I wanted an open C string after that. Da 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 da. And these last two are going to be eighth notes, and that's going to be third fret on the E string. And then that. So let's see if it sounds right. It'll probably be too fast. I'll probably just slow the tempo down. The chord at the beginning didn't sound right. Did that time. Okay. So we probably don't want to do it that fast because that's just going to like drive me crazy. So I'm going to change this down to like 90 beats per minute or something. And we're going to see if that sounds good. Just a guess. Might be too slow. It's weird, it played the wrong note the first time again. Now it's doing it every time. Something is wrong with Guitar Pro. That is a glitch. And so I'm thinking about making the rest of it kind of like a major scale. So I'm going to do an F chord next. Ooh! We'll do that. So it's like going down the major scale and then we hit the 5 chord at the end. So it's a really simple idea. So that way I can just repeat this and make it really easy so that the bass part will be easy to come up with and maybe my phone won't die in the process of making this. So it'll go down there. So it's not quite what I did before, but I want to go to a G chord there. So the underlying chords are going to be like C, dun, da, 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 dun, F, dun, 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 dun. So it'll kind of have that progression. So C, F, maybe G will happen a little sooner than that. So let's see. Yeah, that's what it'll do. I like that better. So I think I can, in other words, I think I can recreate this if need be to record it. C in the middle. So we got, notice I'm not hitting the open G strings. I'm probably going to be like finger picking just those 3 strings rather than strumming all the way through. Or I could mute the A string if I wanted to not play it. Let's see, dun, what did I have? Okay, so then that's just open strings. Open E string, open A string. Okay, and so then that's going to be the 2nd fret on the C string after that. The open G. And then 3rd fret on the E string. And then the open G string. So nice little major scale descending thing. Going to the 5 chord before it comes back I'm just going to repeat that because I'm lazy. So I'm just going to copy all of that. So I highlight it, Control C, because I'm on a Windows computer, and then just paste it again. So now we got that twice. Now I'm practicing it. So I can't quite play that last part that fast yet, which is going to take like 2 or 3 more tries to kind of get more fluid at it. Now I want to have like a B section just so it's not the shortest song in the history of the world. So what I'll probably do is just go like... So this is like some go-to chord kind of stuff that I do. So I want to make this section minor, have it sound a little more somber. Oh, by the way, I normally use this camera for the live stream. That's a Logitech something. I can't remember what they call it, but it's the one that everybody always recommends for live streaming. So there's that. And then just for the record, just since it's over here, got to have your cat calendar. It's like yoga cats or something. Yoga kittens. Keeps me on track, I guess. Writing things out on paper instead of having them on a computer. Totally random. Yes, Alan, that's correct. The Logitech C920. That is the one. Thank you. So... keep the B section really simple. So it's based around an A minor chord. I'm just going to minor to make it a little more interesting. What do I have? Yeah, just an A minor chord straight up. And then I'm going to hit A's in between everything here. And then I'm just walking up A minor, so the melody's going A, B, C, B with low A's in the middle. Very boring stuff. Then I'm going to go to a G chord. We'll see what I do. So I did the finger picking thing to only get 3 of the strings. So we got that, then the open G string, then the open A string, because I'm just walking up. So it's like the same pattern. This is like a theme kind of thing, which is why I'm able to write it so quickly, right? Is like I'm just doing the same thing over these 2 chords. I'm going like root, second, third, second of that chord, then moving down to G and doing root, second, third, second, same pattern. So that theme allows me to kind of do that quicker. Dun, dun. Oh. Da, dun, da, dun, da, dun. Da, dun. Okay, and then I'm just going to be lazy again. Copy. Paste. Just so that we're not here all day. So there's that, and then now it's going to go back to the A section because ABA is a really common form. So I'm just going to go Control C, Control V. So this is our song now. Let's see. We'll see if it sounds like it's over at the end of it. I'll probably have to add a C chord at the end to make it over. I gotta practice that part. Okay, and then probably at the end we'll do a nice little C chord, and that'll be our whole song. What do you guys think? And then make it a whole note. Boom, it's done. So that's the ukulele part. Good luck me trying to play this. Okay. So I'm going to have to practice it slower, which is generally what I have to do each week, is just kind of like get there. Short and sweet. Oh, man. I might have to change the name of the song to Short and Sweet. I really like that. We'll call it, oh, man, that's so good. All right. Has that been done, Seth? Did you get that from somewhere, or is that like, is that pun like all you? Because that's awesome. I'll call it both names. What I'll do is when I do style sheet, I'll go, we called it By the River, and then I'll put in print, and I'll put the subtitle Short and Sweet. because that's pretty good. That way we're using both. By the river, short and sweet, like a musical suite. That's pretty good. Okay, and so then what I did there is I went to File, Style Sheet, and then this is how I'm changing everything in here. So if you ever get Guitar Pro, you'll know how to use it. And then I don't worry about artists so much because I don't like where it puts that on there. I just go down to like music, or sometimes words in music, or words by. Words will end up over here, music will end up over there. So I'll just do by Stephen Cox. And sometimes I'll put that it's a duet as the subtitle rather than calling it short and sweet, but today we're not going to worry too much about it. Sometimes that takes up too much room for me and I don't always leave it there, but we'll leave it how it is. So now we got to come up with a bass line. So let me get the flat wounds out, we'll get this all done, and then I'll go in and play through it. So got my journeyman, boom. Now I got to make sure it's in tune. All right, and so far I don't have anything like plugged into an amp, and we're probably not going to because of the way I'm recording this one is probably going to be everything plugged in. And yeah, we're just going to see how this works. So I'm going to play this back and just try to play with it and see what comes out. Kind of boring. I'm going to try to come up with something a little bit better than that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I could just be lame and do a major scale for the bass line, but I think that's a little too lame. What you got on here? Let's see. Short and sweet, still the best thing. All right, I've been trying to do covers and stuff, so this live, yeah, I'm hoping it helps a little bit. It does kind of sound like a simple little theme song, doesn't it? So I could just play down the major scale, which that bass line is in like every song known to man. I think there's a Jack Johnson song, for instance, called is it Better Together? Is that the one that uses the major scale going down? Then there's Friend of the Devil, Grateful Dead. It's a G major scale instead of a C major scale. But that's like the guitar part. And actually, I think it just goes all the way down. I don't think it goes to the 5. But it's a pretty common thing. Okay, sorry, I'm getting all these notifications. I hope it's not messing up the live stream on there. That one was for Graham Stephan video. Obviously a April Fool's joke. I should have done something, but instead I'm doing something serious. Oh well. So I could go. I could do something like that, but still, I almost want to do something more interesting. So let's see what we got. I wonder if I get some contra motion. Kind of boring just do a major scale. Well, I might make it more boring just to make it not the major scale. See if I can just... Okay, I'm trying inversions and just little basic stuff. First inversion chords and stuff. Not boring though. Okay. Destroying my Cubase on stream. That would be a funny one, but yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. Obviously, that's an April Fool's joke. I could go like, all right, guys, I'm destroying it. If someone were to sign on right now, that would have been a good April Fool's joke for them. But I don't know if anybody did. Okay. So, yeah, so... Dun, dun. It'd be really funny if this like ended up sounding exactly like some song that already exists or something, but it's not intended to be an April Fool's joke. Okay. So I know I'm going to start on a C. So why don't I do like bum, bum, bum. So contrary motion. Oh, that's not the right note. So 1, 2, half note, 3, 4. So I'm just walking up the scale. First note is C major, so I'm going to C, D, E, F. And I got to figure out something interesting there. I could do A, G, although that's not really interesting. Like skipping over a note from the scale and then coming back. And yeah, it's going to sound more video game-like with the MIDI rather than with the ukulele and the U-bass. Like just U-bass, sorry. It's ukulele, but it's U-bass. Being like that. So I got... I think I like that, so let's see if that works. Or maybe it works better to a G there. Let's see. C, D, E, F, G, B, C. Yeah. Or G, B, C. I'm gonna go low just to keep the line repeating. So we got, actually, what if I did, so third fret on these strings, F, F, A, B, C. So I'm taking up a lot of time doing this, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. Y'all are committed. I'm going to bring the A down to here and do A, B, so I can just copy and paste it, because let's be honest, that's all I really want to do, to get to the next step of how I do these things. Okay, so now I got the bass line. For some reason, the bass line's above the ukulele. I don't really know. Maybe I can flip those by just grabbing this and putting it above. No. I don't know how to reorder them. Can I make it first? Okay, so now I'm just experimenting with trying to figure out how I can change the order of the tracks. I really don't know how to do that. There's probably a tutorial on YouTube somewhere, but I'm not the one that made it, so I don't know how to do it. So we've got our A section, and then on the B section, I was wanting to do more like eighth note driving kind of thing. So I was thinking, not very original, but it's okay because it's just part of the song. So I could do them as quarter notes. Let me see if quarter notes or eighth notes sound better. So here's quarter notes. And then eighth notes are going to be like... So I'm thinking eighth notes. What do you guys think? Because the quarter notes would be bum, bum, bum. So it'd be bum, 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 bum. And I think I like it better up the octave. Because I think the G that the ukulele is going down to is still that G and not this G. So lower or higher. So here's the low one. And I think I'm going to do eighth notes. Which one do you guys like, eighth notes or quarter? Don't all speak at once. That last one was eighth notes, the other one was quarter. I'm just going to keep doing this until you'll tell me. I'm thinking eighth. So if anyone disagrees, speak now. Eighths, okay. Eighth notes, cool. It seems like everybody agrees, like having this section be driving. Dun, 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 dun. I think dun, 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 dun was what I originally had. So let's see that. Dun, dun, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, whoops, that's not the right note. Ah, wrong string. Oh, and do you like the lower octave or the higher octave better? That was the other thing. Let me play the lower octave and the higher octave here. Here's the lower. Then the higher. Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. Lower does sound good. Good call. We'll keep it lower. So I'll just copy and paste this instead of having to delete it. So that's kind of convenient. V, and then I'm gonna be really boring and just copy and paste the A section again for the bass line. Control C, Control V, and then the only thing left is the last note, which is gonna be a C whole note. So now we got our song. That took entirely too long, but hey, we wrote it in like about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, somewhere in that range. So now I'm going to save it, because if I don't save it, it's going to like explode and combust and never exist again. So it's saved. I don't like these things being here, so I click on them and then it says display, and I just click the check mark next to visible and it goes away. So this is going to have way too much information for anybody trying to get started with Guitar Pro and be like, why do I need to know that? Adjust the fingering, boom, it disappeared. So the ukulele one tells you that it's a low G, so I'm not sure if I want that in there or not. It might be nice to know that it's a low G. So I might actually leave that one in there, just because it's good to know. U bass, just standard. Okay, so now that we have these upside down, I don't know how to flip them, so we've got ukulele on bottom and U bass on top, but that's okay, because most of us are bass players, so we probably like that. The importance. Okay, so generally speaking, what I do for my patrons is I export this as a PDF as well. So if they don't have Guitar Pro, they can still open the file. So boom, it's saved as By the River. This reminds me of that skit from Saturday Night Live, you know, in a van down by the river. So that's what it's making me think of. So if you've ever seen that, I think was it Chris Farley that did that one? It's pretty good skit. So we'll pretend that this is a reference to that, even though I'm sure that wasn't your intention. But now what I'll do is I keep Guitar Pro open. I don't know why Spotify's open though. I can get rid of that. And then I'll go over here. And the other stuff that I use right now is free software. Right now I'm using Audacity to record and Resolve to what's it called? To edit the video. So right now I open Audacity, and then of course since we're recording, it's time to get the video camera out. So I'm gonna turn this around so that I have the light facing me rather than away from me. And I'm gonna have to practice the uke part, so I might record the bass part first to have the a solid foundation to play over. So now we make sure that we're in tune again, because things could change. And they did. They all went sharp. I'm gonna check to make sure the the tuner's not crazy, by checking it with harmonics afterwards and just see how far out it is. If it's a tiny bit out, I might just have to accept it and go with it. But if it's like way out, then we're not going with it. Because it looks like the battery's starting to die. Okay, so now I set up the camera. This always takes a minute because I have to put the card back in the camera. So let's do that. Boom. Put the camera on the tripod. This little thing right here. I think I included that on my kit.co link, which I am going to put in there later. Just not at the moment. So there will be a description when you'll come back to this video. In the description will be a kit.co link. It'll include Amazon affiliate links. So if you end up, you know, gotta state this for legal purposes. If you end up buying something off Amazon through one of those links, I technically make a tiny bit of money off of it. So just so y'all know. If y'all want to be a YouTuber, that's how you can make slightly more than the ad revenue brings in. So if any of you are aspiring YouTubers, for the record. Okay. Turn on the camera, get the zoom how I want it, make sure that the U-bass, the most important thing about this whole thing, is in the shot. I'm using auto settings on there, even though that's kind of lazy. So so I don't have to do that. Yeah, the bass isn't really in the shot. I'm gonna have to scoot back more. Let's see. Because I have the thing so low. All right, so first I'm really going to practice the bass line and make sure it's as easy as I think it is to play. And this is kind of what I did for Sweet Home Alabama. If y'all were interested, this is how I recorded it and how I arranged it. Did stuff pretty much in this order, except with Sweet Home Alabama, I did not notate the ukulele part, and now I'm getting a whole lot of requests for it, so I'm probably going to end up going back and doing it. But yeah, it's okay. I think this is still in tune. It would help to plug this in, so always remember to plug everything in. There's a lot of stuff to remember. If you don't, you just have to redo it, and then you're going to see how long it takes me to record an ukulele part. The U-bass probably won't take that long. But I got to make sure that the levels are good, so I'm going to do a test run. But first I'm going to practice. It's not this fast, it's okay. So that's what the bass line sounds like by itself. Seems like not much practice needs to happen. So at this point, I make sure that this is at the beginning of the piece. I'm probably going to do it without the glasses because, like I said, the ring light being right here is just going to reflect on my glasses. And I'm going to have to wear them for the uke part anyway because I don't have that one memorized as yet. But what I do is I keep Guitar Pro open, and it doesn't record what I'm doing with Guitar Pro. I'm actually going to close out of Chrome so it doesn't make the computer crash. So I hit record on Audacity. It just automatically opens up a track for the first one, so I don't have to worry about that. I hit record. And if I had a different program, I'd probably do this maybe in a slightly different order. But this is how I do it with Audacity. And then I hit the record button on the camera, because that would be terrifyingly bad if we didn't have that. I'd probably get the... Turn this way so I get a little bit more light. My head's going to be slightly out of the shot, it looks like. Not quite far enough back. Usually I don't do it in this chair. I usually sit on the cajon instead. But today, it just is what it is. Let's get the cajon out of the shot, though. Things you have to think about when you're recording. And I'm also really glad this lapel mic has such a long cable because that would have just unplugged it otherwise. I didn't even think it through. Okay. Let's do this. By the River, take one. Oh, make sure I'm recording on Audacity too. I am. Okay. Make sure this is loud enough. Oh, I didn't do a sound check for the U-bass. Let me actually test. Yep, it's a good thing I did. If you look at everything going on here, if you can see through the camera, it peaked. So that's not good. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop the video and fix this problem. So why did it peak? The settings should not have. So why is it so dang loud? Probably because of Audacity's settings. Oh, the Audacity. So I got to decrease the gain on that and do another trial and make sure that everything's set right. So recording through the Scarlett Solo, okay. Let's see. Okay, now if you see the waveforms, they aren't going all the way to the edges of the little track, so that's fine. I'm going to go with that and play probably about that volume or a little quieter. So I hit record on that, I hit record on the camera, and then there's a count off in this program, so it'll give me 4 beats count off, and then I'll play with it. And I looked at the wrong camera. So now there's going to be footage of me looking over here instead of looking at the camera at the end. And I looked at the screen instead of the lens. If you're recording and you're doing this YouTube thing, always look at the lens, not the little screen where you are. I've kind of been doing that with the live stream all the time too, because I should be looking here. And I'm looking here, which is the screen. Okay, so just some stuff to think about if you were doing this. So now I got to hit stop on Audacity, and it's like we've got all that extra stuff. I wonder if it picked up my voice through the Ubase. Sometimes it does that, which is kind of fun. I immediately go to File, Save, because if I don't save the project, something will happen, a mysterious computer crash or something. Okay, I'm going to save this as By the River in Audacity. Okay. And we're going to listen to the playback and make sure it doesn't sound like garbage. It still seems a little bit louder than it did on the test run, which makes no sense, but let's see. It's clear enough for me. Okay, so I think that's a keeper take. It's not usually the first take like this, but that's why we made the song easy, right? Sometimes it's the most frustrating thing in existence trying to get the right take. But today it was easy because the song's pretty easy. You'll see what I mean with the uke part, because the uke part's not quite as easy. So I'm going to cut the end off, what I'm doing here, which you can't see through this camera, is I'm just like cutting off the end here and doing that. So then what I do for the uke part is I can't just play along to the recording, so I'm going to have to memorize the uke part. So it probably would have been better to do this in the other order, but oh well, is what it is. I didn't think it through. So I go over to here and I export the audio file. I export it as a wave with the metronome and the count on selected, and it automatically has it set as the name of the song. So I'm going to put tab play, just so I know that's the tab and not the audio that I'm going to be looking for later. And then I just put some sort of note like that. It's not always the same note. But that's something to keep in mind, like if you're doing this kind of thing. So then I'm going to import the audio. Actually, did I already save it? Yeah, I'm going to save it first. Then I'm going to import audio, file, import audio. What did we just save it as? By the River. So it's B, so ABC order. Bloody River, By the River, tab play. So that imports it in here. I don't need it to be stereo, so I split this up to mono by doing that little button. You can kind of reference this video if you want to do that. I'm over here, by the way, I guess. But back to the screen. So split stereo to mono, boom, delete one of them because we don't need two of them. And that way it helps me line it up easier. So then my goal is to line this first note up with the obvious first bass note down here. So I'm just going to delete stuff here until it gets close. Then I'm going to zoom in a lot closer with this feature, a little magnifying glass, so that I can get them to truly line up and not have to like guess a bunch. All right, cool, almost there. Now it looks like I did too much. Okay, undo, make this ever so slightly smaller. Control X. Okay, so now I'm going to save it because I'm assuming that that's right. Never assume, but for the sake of speed, we're just going to check it once. Sounds good to me. If I mute the bottom one, there's the bass track. Here's the click track with the other part. That's what it sounds like with both. It has an extra booming quality to it with the bass. I usually listen to it all the way through to make sure that I didn't play anything like excruciatingly out of time or anything. All right, then I move these instruments out of the way now that we're done with them. Okay. Whoops. Forgetting this microphone's attached to me. So if you're hearing like, then I apologize. All right. So now I'm going to plug the ukulele in. Make sure to tune it. Oh, I can save this first. File. Save. You might see a pattern. Oh, it's already saved. I already did this. Okay. So then I do tracks, new track. All right. So how many people are still with me? Let me check on you guys. You got 10? Okay, that's not bad. I kind of want to do the type of arrangement type thing you do. Cool. Thanks, Navix. I'll keep going. Oh, that was a long time ago. Holding onto it right now. Let's see. As soon as I can. However, they don't sell the red ones anymore. Yeah, if you can probably find a used red one somewhere. If you're talking about the Journeyman, you can probably find a used one. There's a brand that makes a look-alike one. The Haitian orange ones. They make those. So now I've got the ukulele plugged in. We're assuming it went out of tune because they always do go out of tune. So I gotta. Well, it didn't pick it up the first time. I think the battery's dying in this too. Oops. The E is flat. Okay, I think that was the button of this jacket buzzing. You know what? I'm wearing the Zelda shirt underneath it. Let's just do the Zelda shirt. This one is going to take me more practice, I can tell you already. Throw the jacket to the side. Hopefully it won't cause a fire hazard, and we'll be okay. Otherwise, you'll see a fire live, which would be pretty bad. But we'll see what happens. Put this back on here. Turn the tuner off. Get a practice run like we did before. Make sure it's recording on the right thing. You love my recording setup. Oh, you use Audacity too? And I used to have a Mac, and I used to do GarageBand, but that computer was just too old. So I like Macs too, and if I was using a Mac, I'd be using GarageBand right now, although eventually I'm probably going to upgrade one or both of these. So first I'm going to do a test run. It doesn't look like it's too loud. Like, check this out. Look at the bottom one. When I finger pick, it might even be too quiet. So that might have been why the other one was too loud. I might have recorded the ukulele last. In fact, on Sweet Home Alabama, I did. So that's too quiet. Let me go back to 80 for the gain, and let's just see what happens. It still looks quiet. Okay. So Control Z, we're not worried about that. Control Z is just undoing that recording. The volume can just come up a little, I guess. All right. Oops, forgot to hit record. So I'm just checking the volume levels. I'll play along with it this time. Ooh, that boosted it a lot, so I'll come back just in case. Okay, now is where I practice. So I have to memorize this one, which shouldn't be too hard to memorize. It's just a matter of getting my fingers to play it. So this is the part that usually takes me like hours. But obviously today we're going to try to do it quicker since we're already almost an hour into this. So let's see. So that's hard for me. I don't think the B section is going to be hard though. The B section is like... So... That changed it. Oh. Yeah, I'm not doing it quite right. Okay, so I'm gonna have to practice both of them apparently. We're gonna start with the A section to get it. Notice how I'm doing it slower to develop muscle memory. I'm accidentally adding a swing, it's not on purpose. Okay, so we're gonna just keep going with the A section slowly until it feels like my fingers understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Do it again. Well, I'm getting better, but not better enough. So it's got to be slower. Okay. So this is the thing. If you try to play something 2 times in a row and you mess it up, you're probably trying to play it too fast. So for where you're at. So if you're trying to develop muscle memory, you're trying to do it as quick as possible, play it slow enough to get it right. And then that way you're actually developing muscle memory instead of just wasting your time. So here we go. So in other words, sometimes I waste my time and get frustrated. Sometimes I remember what I'm telling you right now and I get it done a lot quicker. Oops, see, that was a G. I'm like, okay, wrong string. So it seems like the 2. I keep wanting to play I keep wanting to play the 2 before an open string is after. This is the most boring part of the video, by the way. Not quite perfect yet. That was good enough for me. Did the 2 again. So I'm just going to loop that part because that's the part that's giving me all the trouble. Okay. Yeah, so remembering to take my hand up. This is easy stuff, but sometimes it's like you might get a little frustrated going like, I know I can play this and it's really easy, but that's your ego getting in the way. If you can't do it, the quickest way is to slow it down to practice there. So I apologize that you're seeing like in real time how long it's actually taking me, but that is the way. So let's see, I keep wanting to hit a G there too. Now I'm just like, this is the real process though. Sometimes I get frustrated. I keep going through it. Usually I take a break. So that's why I'm talking to you guys in between it. Like, give yourself a break, shake your hands out, and go forward again. Back to the first part. Okay, so I'm getting there, and sometimes I'll get cocky and try to just go ahead and do a take. Let me play it along with the metronome and just see if I'm there or not, realistically. How fast is it? Almost. All right, it's not quite there, but I'm gonna be impatient and try to record. Every now and then there'll be an arrangement where it's like I wait till the day of, like this kind of thing, and I do all this stuff. And when I say every time, I usually wait till the day of, but sometimes I can't always get it the day of, right? So don't procrastinate like me. Give yourself ample amounts of time to practice to get better, and then that way you don't have to do post-editing, which can sometimes take a long time. But there are times where like I just can't get the string noise out, or like you might hear certain notes that I hit too hard. I can fix that in editing with compression, but if it's a totally wrong note, it takes a lot more time to fix it in editing. So, sorry, just scratched the microphone. That was probably loud. I'm going to pull both of these up on the same screen so that I can hit record and then still be able to see the tab. So here's what I mean. I've got the Audacity window really small on one side right here, and then I've got the tab player over here. So because I have limited, you know, I'm really just using the audio, and because the last section is the same as the first section, I don't have to scroll. I can just look at the first section, the second section, back to the first section. So I don't really need to scroll along like I did, like I had it scrolling along on the bass part. I didn't really need it for the bass part either. I'm going to do an audio test record. Watch me get it right and then not be able to do it with the video like 6 times in a row, in which case I might lip sync it. I rarely do that. I know, you probably don't like that I do that, but every now and then I do that. Let me know how you feel about those kinds of like edits and lip syncing. Is that okay? Is it sneaky? Is it kind of, does it let you guys down knowing that sometimes your favorite creators kind of go in and redo a little section here and there? Because I assure you most YouTubers do. Most musicians do, unless they just practice the mess out of it and then get it. A lot of them do doctor the audio and then lip sync it after the fact. Don't go looking for who does this and who doesn't, because I don't know, there's just better uses of your time, I think. But it doesn't mean that they can't play it. It just means that they had to learn it in like a short amount of time. Hello. All right. So maybe I will go ahead and record the video too. Take after take after take. Let's see what happens. Make sure that it's in the shot. It's in the shot. If I hold it up like that. Try not to look this way so the ring light goes off my glasses. If I keep my head turned this way, it looks like it doesn't. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to hit record on that first because I don't have a lot of time. I only have 4 beats once I hit record on here. Who knows what will happen. Okay, that was a total mess. So we'll stop the recording and just hear the playback and make sure the audio recorded okay. I'm going to mute the other things, just solo that one track. It's that same mistake, isn't it? If it's the same mistake, that means I'm not taking the time to develop the muscle memory. So let me go back and do that, because that's what that means. So going back and fixing that will save me a lot of time, even though it's kind of annoying as a follower to like, or a subscriber to see this over and over. Okay. Okay, so I put it together. Well, it sounds cool with the G, but it's not the way I wrote it. Okay. Ooh, that sounds cool. It's not right. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. So I'm not quite there yet, but you guys get the idea. If I don't get the take that I want on here, I could go back and redo the audio. And I might do that just for the sake of giving you an idea. And yeah, sometimes there have been times where I've played a mistake, decided that I like the way it sounds, and then went back into the tab and just changed it on the tab to make it match. So occasionally I do stuff like that, unless it's like an arrangement of a song, in which case I don't want to do that. So then I'll just keep going and drive myself crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna try it one more time like this, and then go for it. So it's a little slower than I want to be able to play it, but that's the idea. So I'm feeling better now that I know that I can play through it. Sometimes I will realize I'm hungry, like I am now, and I will go eat. So that's one idea. So I've got a little bit of time left on the camera, so hopefully I can do this before the battery runs out and before the space runs out on the camera. Otherwise I'll have to go and delete stuff, which is not fun for live streaming. So just know that that is part of the process though. All right, so I'm gonna press record on here first, make sure the ukulele's in the shot. Then here we go. I did the same thing where I looked at the screen. All right, so now I'm going to stop that. That was a pretty good take. At the very end, I failed to do something, so I might actually get to show you guys what I can do to edit that in on Audacity. So even though I'd probably just, in reality, do a couple more takes of it, I think that was a good take, except for the very, very end, which means I know that I played that section right earlier a couple times. So because of that, I think I can just go back and edit it, and it should look right with the video because I played whatever the heck I played in place of it in time. So sometimes I do things like that. And now that I've got that recorded, I can put the lens cap on this camera. And sometimes, like you can tell, I'm a little bit more anxious than I was before recording. I get anxiety. So recording while trying to get it right, sometimes what happens for me is I forget to breathe while I'm recording. So one thing that you can do is if you find yourself doing take after take, getting frustrated, you may not be like me, you may not have this issue, but what you can do is just remind yourself to breathe while playing. Because sometimes it's like we're holding our breath while we're trying to get the thing right, and all that does is send less oxygen to everything, and then all of a sudden you make more mistakes. So now we've got that done, I'm just going to listen to the track back. I already saved it, I think. Okay. So I saved it, so let me spin this around so you can see what I'm doing. I'll move the camera out of the way. Okay. So let's see what we got. If it's good enough, I might just leave it in there because I mean, if the bass covers it up, then fine. I'm going to solo the track, so it has a little solo button. Bring it back to the beginning and press play. Let's hear what we got. Please be okay. It's just one note that was so quiet you couldn't hear it right there at the end. Did you guys hear that one? It was like right here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So I might just leave it there, but for the sake of doing this for you guys, what I would do is figure out where did that happen before. So because I recorded in time, so we're listening for a dun 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 dun. So we know we did that right here somewhere. Okay, so that's what we want. Dun 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 dun. So that was from here, I think. So I'm going to click there and see if that was the right spot. So that's perfect. So I'm just going to copy that from there, since I've already played it correctly, to here, Command C, or Control C, I mean. And then I'm going to add a new track, because I don't know a better way to do this in Audacity. I think you wouldn't have to do all this craziness there. So now I just got to find where that repeated. Let's find it. Okay, so that was right here. So I'm just gonna, in fact, I'm gonna put it slightly late so that when I try to line it, I can try to line it up backwards. It's hard to line it up forwards in Audacity. So I put it in a little bit late and then line it up manually by, you know, just Control X until it lines up with this. So let's do that. Control X. Hopefully I didn't make a face, or that face will be in the video forever. Let's see what happens. All right, Control X. That looks pretty close. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and sometimes you play a note out of time here and there, and just slightly to where it doesn't really matter. But I have to check it with the other ones to make sure, okay, that note looks later than that. What about when I come back in? That note still looks later. So it looks like I got to delete a little bit more to get this to line up with that, even though it looks like it's lined up right now. I'm going to do one more. Does that line up? It looks better here. Here it still looks behind, like a good amount behind, so that'll look funny on the video. But there, that note's ahead. No, it's still behind. Okay. The note up top is still ahead, so still not there yet. We're going to Control X one more time. It looks like this part's ahead, but I may have just played that note a little bit late. So that's a lot closer, but it's still ahead. That one, well, that's the mess up, so we're not worried about that. This part right here, it's still just a tiny bit behind. So I'm going to assume that I just hit this note kind of funky. So take a tiny bit more out. Now I'm going to unmute this. Or I'm going to solo both of these. Sorry. I guess I can't solo both those tracks. I just have to mute the other ones. Okay, manually. Mute. So now I will solo that. And solo. Whoops. Unmute, not solo. Unmute. Unmute. Okay. So now we got just the two tracks in question. We're trying to see if it's lined up. It's really close. I'm pretty content with that. However, I have to fade this track out in time to come back in there. So what I do here is I zoom out, and Audacity is kind of weird. You have to generate silence for the part that you don't want. So I'm going to go here within the clip that I put in there so I can have the fades cross over. Highlight this whole section all the way to here. Oh, well, I guess this one I'll have to go a little further. I should have kept recording before. But yeah, all the way to here and silence that out. So I go to Generate Silence, and that generates the silence. So normally right around where I generated the silence, I have to fade into and out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight just that little tiny bit right there and hope that I got it right. And then hit Fade Out, Effect, Fade Out. And that's from the Effect drop-down window. And then over here, I'm going to fade it back in. I don't even remember when it was that I generated silence. Let me hear if there's a click on this track. I'm going to solo it. There's not. So I don't even have to. So I'm not even going to worry about it. And then on the clip that I just made, I'm going to have to fade in and out of this too, just so there's not a click. So I highlight it to where it was, go to Effect, Fade In for this one, and Fade Out for the other one. Effect, Fade Out. So now I'm going to have both of these playing at the same time by unmuting that one and just see if it sounds right. Can't even tell it's there. So the fades worked, everything's good. File save, because if the computer were to crash, that would be a pain to have to do again, considering it took me, what, like 10 minutes to do. So then now I'm going to zoom out. Okay, I see everything here. It's all lined up. I like exporting it with still having the count in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and solo and then unsolo everything so everything's good. And then first I'll play it back to make sure it lines up. Actually, I want to make sure the bass and the ukulele line up, so I'm going to mute the click track and just hear how they sound just by themselves. Ooh, they don't sound in time. Okay, I forgot about this. Audacity doesn't line things up on my computer, so I'm going to have to, they're not really that out of time. I didn't record it that badly out of time. It's the computer's fault on this one. I know, y'all can believe me or not, but if you look at the wavelength, every single note will be the same distance ahead or behind. So the first note I didn't hit right in time. I did this little flourish into it, so I got to find a note that it hit right in time that's supposed to line up, and then I can figure that out. So that note is behind that one, however much that's behind. And I'm going to zoom in to see it better. But however much that's behind is how much I have to delete. Okay. So from there to here means about, like, not quite a centimeter, but I have to do it off the front of the track. So let me go off the front of the track, and I got to do it to both the tracks that I made. So I'm just going to highlight both of them and delete about that much and hope that that was the right amount. If it's not, then I'll just, you know, redo it. Play back and see what we got. It wasn't enough, so I can do a little bit more. All right. Highlight them again. Let's say it's about that much. Control X. Play it back and see what happens. It's almost perfect. I still think that the bass is slightly ahead. It's almost perfect though. Yeah, it sounds like the bass is rushing, so the bass, I don't think the bass was rushing there, so let's take about that much out this time. See what happens. I can either hit play or I can just hit on this timeline bar and it automatically plays, in case you're wondering what I was doing before. What do you guys think? Obviously the mix is a little off. I mean, for us C bass players, sure, we like having the bass that loud. Cool. Sounds good. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna save it because, gosh, that took a lot of time. Whoops, that's not save. Okay, then I'm gonna back this up. I wanna take out the click track version, and that was this one. So I'm just gonna highlight it all the way to the front. But I still want the count in for when I do the tab part. I'm just going to edit out the count in when on the video software when I line it up. So I'm just going to delete this by doing Control X after highlighting it. Boom, that was the only track I highlighted. I like to fade out even though it probably doesn't matter here because that's digital. There's probably not any extra sound. Just to be on the safe side, I fade it out there. And then a lot of times I'll generate silence on the other tracks all the way up to where it starts just so it sounds cleaner. Generate silence, okay, and then fade this in. So I'm going to highlight from here to where that was. Hopefully that's right. If it's not, it'll sound a little strange, but whatever. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the ukulele track, although it looks silent all the way up there. So we're just going to generate silence, okay. This time I'm going to like zoom in so that I can tell exactly where the where this was. Okay, that's cool. Effect fade in. Boom. And then now we got to fix the ending because that fade out is way too long. So I'm just going to go here and listen to this. It's probably good right about there. So I'm going to like clip both clips, Control X. Now they're the same length, so if I do the same kind of fade out, it should work. In fact, I could just highlight both clips, and all three really, because it's not going to do anything to that one. There's nothing there. And then do Effect Fade Out. Now it should sound nice. Not perfectly in time, but close enough for me. So, you know, you might notice that about my stuff. It's not always perfectly in time. Where'd the chat go? Anybody alive out there? How do you go about drums? Right now, I don't really do drums. Sometimes, if I wanted to, and if you really wanted me to, now that I've got this all set up, I could theoretically add a cajon part. But I usually hire a drummer if I'm going to do something, right? I don't really feel like dealing with the mic right now, because otherwise I could sit on the cajon, you know, and I can lower this so you can see it a little bit better. Let's see. And with the cajon, you know, you hit it in the middle. Can't really see it. Here's the cajon. You hit it in the middle to get the bass drum sound, and on the edge to get the snare sound. So if we wanted to, we could add that by just hooking up the mic and doing this. Let's see. Yeah, so we could do that. I don't really like the buzz of the cajon that I have. Do you want me to try to record it? I'm not going to do a video for that part because I think that'll take too long. Would you guys like me to try to record a part? Because what I might do, it's a shame that I got rid of the click track before doing this, because the click track would really help. What I have to do though, if I use the mic, is I have to find my headphones. Hey, they're right here. Which I did use the headphones, as you remember, for the singing. For the same reason, I didn't want the click track to bleed, or that time I turned the click track off because I was just singing. But if I'm doing something like drums, I probably do want a click track. And then I'd probably just, to be on the like easy side, I'd probably just take this mic, even though it's not really the right mic, and just set it in front of it just for the idea. But we have to fix you though? What do you mean? Okay. Let's see. Not quite sure what you meant by that. So then I just, you know, plug this into the computer. Boom. I've got that. Now I just got to plug the mic into the interface. So where's the mic cable end? Let's do that. Switch it over, make sure everything's good. Just add a new track and do a test run. Tracks, add new mono track. This is going to end up being like the longest live stream I've ever done, because we haven't even gotten to the video editing yet. Of course, this one's not going to be too bad unless the computer crashes. Let's be real. It could crash. So I'm going to leave I'm going to turn this unmuted so that we have a count in. And then I'm just going to record a track to it, and hopefully the cajon won't sound like complete garbage. I think it might, but we'll do it just for fun, just because I think that might be kind of a cool thing to have on there. So first I got to do a test track. Super loud. Still super loud. Probably sounds terrible on the live stream. I'm just going to check that and see how it sounds. All right, you got to remember, like I said, it doesn't line up right on Audacity. It's a really cheap program. Let's hear what it sounds like. Oh, you can't hear it with, hold on. Let me plug the speaker in. Computer speakers are so tiny. Okay, it's not going to be lined up with it. I'm not going to take the time to do that. So here we go. So you can tell it's out of time. So I'm just going to solo it so that you can get an idea. Hear that high pitch ring? I don't really like the high pitch ring, and that's why I don't usually do cajon on stuff. That sounds terrible on the live stream. Nope, there I'm saying the thing because it's a microphone. So what do you guys think? Cajon or no cajon? I'm gonna let you guys make the decision. If we do cajon, I'm gonna have to do some editing to get the EQ there, and I'm also gonna EQ on there. So what do you guys think? Cajon or no cajon? I'm gonna let you guys decide. But I'm not gonna put it in the video. I'm just gonna have the audio in it if I do that. Going once, going twice. Is the chat working? Whatever is more comfortable. I mean, I can add it and then make a version of the audio without it, you know, so it's not a huge deal to me. I mean, this has turned into such a thing, I might just release it the other way. Well, basically, yeah, if we do cajon, I can EQ it like Jimmy's saying. He says cut the high end. I think it's more like going to be a mid scoop so that there's some low end and then some of the high is coming through. It just depends on where the ring is, and if we can find the particular frequency, I could take that out. But honestly, I'm not the best audio engineer, so it might work a little bit, it might not. So we'll just see. So yes to cajon. Okay. When I have the headphones on, I can't hear the ring because sometimes I can tell how bad it is. Let's see. It got worse over time. And I can just keep the cajon like quiet in there. So you always mix the low end. I understand. It just depends on how much pop we need. If we don't need much pop, I might do that. We'll just see. We'll just see what happens. So now we do like random take number 2 because the other time was really just a volume test. Go back to the beginning. Make sure it's recording on the right channel. And yeah, and real cajon players would think this is just terrible, just pretending it's a drum set. And yeah, I mean, it's really a cool instrument that has its own sound. It's not just a drum set replacement, you know? Okay. I don't like that. I think that's too busy. So I'm just improvising this, so forgive me. I can't tell if it's the bass note or if it's me that's out of time. Let's see. It's probably the cajon. The ending's a little disappointing, just to let you guys know, the cajon part of the ending. Okay, so it records about a half second at a time. So let me just get this mic out of the way, get the cajon out of the way, and sit in my comfy chair to edit. That's how you avoid back problems, is you don't sit on the cajon to edit, just so you guys know. How I avoid back problems. So right now, if I played it back, it would just be like totally out of time. I'm going to save it because I think that's probably the take we want. Let's just hear it back. You can hear how late it is there, but why don't we do it through the speakers? It's like a half second off. It's crazy, but it always does this with Audacity on this computer. I think it's a Windows issue or an issue with the Omen computer. But yeah, or it could be Audacity itself, but it does it on some other programs too. Like I'll show you on Resolve, lining up the audio is kind of weird too, because the audio of the initial thing is not set to line up with it. And so something's just kind of wrong. I never figured out what it is. If you guys know, if any of you do editing, okay. So obviously that's going to be a hard one to line it up with. So we really want to line it up with the bass. There's a little arrow here that I can minimize these tracks so that way I can see the track that I want to line it up with, which is this bass one. So that bass hit should line up with the first drum hit that I did. So let me minimize this one too. Okay, if you look at where that line is, right, it's like, I think it's, yeah, it's lined up with that line. So you can tell how far off that is. Well, okay, you can't. I can tell how far off that is. Look at how far this line is, which is lining up with that first bass hit. Although it's supposed to be a little bit further, like right there. And look at where the first cajon hit is. So I need to delete that amount of space to get that to work. So I'm just going to estimate this to look like that amount of space. And hopefully I can get it right the first time. Let's see. Control X. What happens? Let's see. There is one bass note that is out of time, which is kind of disappointing, but that's okay. It's the second note too. It's so bad. Okay, and this exposes it, unfortunately. Let me mute the cajon and see if it's actually the bass. It might be the cajon. Okay, so let's do this. It might be that I had a couple of these notes a little bit late. I wonder if I can do this. If I just copy these over to a new track and tracks, new track, and literally paste it in the exact same place and just delete a tiny bit of area before it and just see if those two hits are the culprit. Okay. It's probably not that. It's probably the bass hit. But what if I were to generate silence there anyway and just try it out? All right. How does this all sound together? No, that sounds terrible. We're not going to do that. We're just going to not worry about it. All right. I kind of reacted to it. Okay, and I'm going to keep the rhythm track kind of quiet so we don't really have to worry about that, but it's this note, dun, 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 it's supposed to be on beat 3, and you can tell I did not hit those at the same time. How did that end up so far off, though? It doesn't really make sense. Dun. I think I just hit the bass note early. What do you guys think? Should I leave the cajon in there, exposing that note being late, or should I not? Decisions, decisions, decisions. How about I see Jimmy on here, since you're a producer and you do kind of things like that. What do you think? I think it sounds tacky, personally. Sounds fine? It sounds weird and off time. It is out, right? So should I try, is it the bass note or is it the drums? So let's mute the drum track and just listen to the bass track. I think it's the drums. Okay. So this is why it would have been better for me to have left the audio track in. I've got an idea. It's kind of a silly idea, but this is all lined up to the beginning of the track. So I'm just gonna file, import another copy of the whatchamacallit, of the audio, and see if it was the bass or see if it was the drums. So let's do that. What's this called? By the River. That's what it's called. I agree. There's no need to settle. All right, so now I got this in here. Once again, I don't really want the stereo. So we'll just change that to split to mono, delete one of them. It should already be lined up with everything because I didn't do anything to that track. All right, the bass track's not out of time. It's just my terrible cajon playing. That's the good news. Bad news, I gotta re-record the cajon. It's like you think both of them are slightly off, but listen to it with the playback. I just slowed down with the cajon that much. Don't hire me for a cajon session, you guys. All right. Now I've got a metronome. This should make it easier. It's totally the cajon, right? Yeah. So you see, that's why we do this. Sometimes we realize how we screwed up, which thing is screwed up, and sometimes it's nice to know that it's the cajon and not the bass. So we will just Control X the cajon part, unmute it, and here we go. Headphones in. We are getting the real timing of how long this takes for this particular song, so that's good. I'm not going to do the video because that would just take a long time to add it extra in to edit. So we are good. We have the right track highlighted. So see it, there's a little highlight around which one you have, a little yellow outline. Good to know so that you're not recording over stuff that you don't intend to record over. Okay, and then now I'm just gonna hope that the mic is an okay placement. I have it about 6 inches away from the head of the cajon. Kind of offset, not centered. I'm not sure if there's any reason for it to be offset, but that's where I have it. Anybody that cares about mic placement, if you tell me that's just a bad placement, let me know. But I'm just not worried too much about it. The danger of having it that loud in the headphones is the microphone may have picked it up. So we're gonna have to listen to that and see, because we don't really want the metronome just like... And honestly, through the headphones, it sounded like that bass note might have still been a touch early, but whoops. We've got to line it up anyway. Oh, the joys of... Let me just go ahead and stop the audio. Where is the headphone thing? This always happens to me too. It's right here on my foot. Okay. So before we go back, I'm just going to try to line it up with the click track this time. Now that we have the click track there, they're right next to each other. So I'm going to unmute that, go here. You can't see anything that I'm doing, so this is not really helpful. Okay, so do you see how much further ahead this is than that? That's what we're trying to line up. And now we have clicks to help line us up, which are kind of in the middle of all that. You can see where the click actually is. We might be able to get closer to right. So that needs to line up with this. So let me do that. I might put it a slight touch ahead because I feel like I might have been behind the beat a little. That is still slightly behind, I think. Let's see. That one looks... Let me put the line right here and see what happens. Now it's slightly ahead. Okay, now we're going to mute this and see if that bass note still sounds tacky or not. Slightly, nowhere near as bad, right? It's not great, it's not perfect. What do you guys think? Better? Yeah, the metronome helps a lot. So that's the other moral of the story, is don't delete the metronome prematurely. Cool. All right. And this is why I don't normally add drum tracks to my audio. That is why. Okay. So just the extra time that it takes, basically. But I suppose I could, you know, if there are certain ones that you guys think need it. So now we're going to solo it and just see what we can do as far as we're going to do an effect. We're going to check out the, I like the filter curve better than the graphic EQ on here because I really want to be able to move stuff around. So even though it's not really the point of it, it's kind of the same thing. Okay, I don't like that, so I'm going to flatten this out. We're just going to hear what we got so far. Okay, what if we add a little more low end to that? So I just want to like, not that much, gee whiz. It's going to like kill people. I don't know, this might be silly. I don't remember what it sounded like before. So I'm going to flatten it, even though it's really annoying having to do this again. But let me just put my finger there to check. Okay, so here's what it sounded like before. Yeah, I like the extra low end, so let me put these little dots here and just kind of raise that middle part. Well, that didn't work. I thought I put an extra dot there, but I didn't. Put one extra dot here. It's not the way it works, that's why. Okay, flatten. So I guess I have to pull one side up after making one here so it doesn't make the whole line come up. And then, as you can tell, I don't use this feature a ton. I've just kind of gotten into it lately. And then we want to kind of pull. Why is it doing that? I kind of added a new, there we go, that's what I want. And if you guys know better about the exact frequencies, I'm just kind of estimating here. Not sure if that sounds better at all. Let's be realistic. I'm going to scoot these over. And see if that helps. I'm just guessing, but this is something I'm doing, adding bass to it right now. Now we got to take out some mids somewhere. Does anybody have any clue what frequency that annoying sound is? I'm going to check on the chat here. Otherwise, we're just going to be like guessing. So I'm going to take the mids out. I'm just going to scoop them right now down low, and then probably bring this side back up a little. Maybe even raise it, and we're going to hear how terrible that sounds and then correct. Yeah, it's a tiny bit too much, and the high end ring is still there, so what we probably want to do is have this happen here. And this is the trial and error part. The question is, where's it done? What frequency would that be? I'm going to take out the like really highs, and I'm going to look at what you're saying. I'm old school analog, digital is beyond me. Yeah, I'm kind of just guessing with this curve. Like look at how like what am I doing? Drawing on here? It's an E, but I don't know which frequency E it would be that's ringing out. So if you guys know that would help. That did not help. So the ring must be here or it must be lower. Let's just see. It must be like here or something. We're just going to try random things. Don't want to flatten it because I like this part. Although I'm going to check it through headphones because I may have boosted that bass like awfully, you know, for headphones. So we're going to do a test there. It might be awful for cell phones too. So let's see what happens. It's not that bad, but I think I'm going to bring it down a little bit. All right, I'm thinking a little less on this high end thing. All right, you said it's an E. Well, that's in tune with our keys, so I think our song will cover up a lot of that. And it's not really out of any chords except for the G chord. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. We're going to pretend this works. Okay. Then now that we've got that, this might be the wrong order to do things in, so forgive me if I'm just like doing things like way out of order, but compression. So I'm going to try to add compression to it and just see if that like makes it sound better or worse, although I'm not trying to highlight both tracks. Let's see. Effect, compressor. I'm just going to go with whatever it's set to. Let's see. I'm going to listen to it. I'm not sure if that sounds better at all, but we're going to pretend it does because that's how we roll when we're 1 hour and 46 minutes into it and haven't gotten to the video editing. So let's see. We're going to pretend that made it sound better. Let's see. Oh, let's unmute it now. And just mute this one. And at some point I had to hit the save button so it doesn't like destroy everything. It's not bugging me. Yes, I think it's better than it was. We could undo both of them and redo them. Let me save this first. Actually, I don't think you can undo things once you save. Let's see. Undo compressor, undo filter curve. This is what it sounded like before. Oh, let's it sounds weak to me. And then when I redo filter curve and redo compressor, it sounds a little stronger. Although the snare hits a little silly, a little thin. I scooped the mids too much, but that's okay. Right now, we're happy. Oh, it's already saved because I redid the things exactly to where it was. We can get rid of this track at this point. I'm thinking a little reverb. This is what I did for Sweet Home Alabama, so I'm just going to do this for this guy. I'm going to highlight both the ukulele tracks. Whoops, not the bass. And I'm going to add a couple of effects here. I'm going to do just some reverb. And then let's see, preview. Yeah, compression fixes stuff sometimes. I don't even know if I heard the reverb on that. Did you guys? We're going to pretend it worked. Because the next thing we're going to do is probably add compression to this too and see what happens. What's your opinion, guys? Compression on a ukulele, yes or no? Well, that made it too loud. Make up for 0 decibel after compressing. I'm probably going to do that and then turn it down in the mix. So let's do that. Boom, it got immediately like super loud. So now we're going to take the volumes of both of these dudes and we're going to turn them down a good bit. Let's do that. -5, -5, which probably means I just shouldn't have done the gain thing. Let's do minus, I did -6 on that. Let's do -5 on both of them. I could like reduce the volume of them too, like so that the waveforms aren't so big. as you can tell, I just kind of used the presets and didn't care that much if I was like right or not, and it still sounded good. So Audacity kind of has some good presets. You can mess around with them if you don't like what it does. If you want to preview it, you could highlight it to where it starts rather than all the way to the beginning, so there's not that silence every time. I just forgot to do that here. I'm thinking with the U-bass track, we just want to take out some low end. I don't think we want to add, we could add compression, but I don't usually. So I'm just going to do, what did I just say? We're going to take out with the filter curve. Obviously, we're not using that one because that would boost the bass. I don't want it to hurt headphones and cell phones. So I didn't mean to bring all of it down though. Let's flatten it again. See if I can just do this. I brought it down a tiny bit, but not as much. So yeah, that might be too much. I'll have to try it through headphones to see. We don't want to thin it out too much. We just want to make sure it doesn't hurt speakers by having too much low end somewhere. Let's see. That versus flat was... Okay, it doesn't make any difference on these speakers, so I'm going to use the headphones because that's where I really know if it's like blasting me out or not. These aren't the greatest headphones. I highly recommend investing in a way better pair, but is what it is. Let's see. So here's what it is without. It's very boomy. Wow, that's boomy. So let me do about the same thing that I was doing before and just see if that's the audible range or not. I can never remember. Minus 6 decibels, probably too much. We'll see. Yeah, it's noticeably different. Let's pull it down a little bit more. It's still buzzing a little bit, but that might be because I just have it too loud. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's add another dot here and then move this one and move that guy. All right. Does anybody even know the audible range for bass? Isn't that sad? As a bass player, I don't know that. Okay, that might be too much, but let's listen to it in the mix. Oh, let's do it this way first. Okay, how about through the actual speakers? It's not killing the laptop speakers though, so that's always a good test. Might have lost a little bit of its oomph to it, but yeah, you can tell the waves got smaller. Let's just see what happens. Timing issues, but they aren't too bad. I feel like the ukulele is too loud. Yeah, it's not bad. So let's do, I might bring the ukulele down a tiny bit just because I don't like how loud this looks, which may not mean anything at all, but it's a little scary to me. So I'm going to like do this, and I'm going to go to the amplify thing, but I'm actually going to subtract using it instead of amplifying it. So I go to amplify, and rather than, yeah, see this, the compression brought that one part up to 0. So we're just going to pull it back like, I don't know, decibel. That made it smaller. That part's nowhere near as scary looking. Let's see. And you can hear the bass better now. Or I can. These are not the best speakers to mix on, but it's cool. You know what would make the cajon sound better? Everything by bass sounds better with reverb. So why don't we just do that? Let's see. Cajon track, effect, reverb, preview. A little too much. Room size smaller. Pre-delay, maybe not much at all. Reverberance, a slight bit less. Dampening, slight bit less. I'm kind of just guessing on some of this. Wet gain, slightly less. Dry gain, I'm going to leave up. Let's see. It probably isn't going to make enough difference. See, that just sounds like a light touch. That sounds better to me. Maybe it'll add something to it. Maybe it won't do anything at all, but... Okay, let me take that off and see what it sounded like before. Undo reverb. Yeah, it did make it quieter. I don't know why it made it quieter. I think it was the wet gain versus the dry gain. It's not the best thing ever, but for 2 hours of work, I think it's okay. And when you line it up with the video, things look better. It's okay, it's catchy, kind of like deciding if I wanted to grab Girl's Hand at the Movies. Oh, okay, playing like innocent little sounding song. Yeah, kind of like it. Do you have an acoustic guitar? I don't really want to add anything else to it. I think we're just going to go with that, because sometimes just having the video there, it's like, I don't know. It seems to me like people don't analyze things like they would if they had their eyes closed and were just listening to the audio. So it's something like this actually accompanies the video pretty well. But it'd always be better if I could, you know, up the quality over time for sure. And it's fun talking to you guys about it and getting your opinions on it. So this went from being a tutorial to kind of a collaborative effort. And I add this lamp over here. It's just some cheap Walmart lamp, but it has more color than this light. So instead of looking like a pale ghost, if I'm between the two, I look kind of like not a ghost. Okay. So, now the ultimate test. Okay, so just for the sake of it, let's see how the video looks. All right. So this one's the ukulele take that we used. I don't know if you can see which one I'm hovering over. This one right here is the ukulele take we used, because it's the last one I recorded, and I don't remember recording a mess up after getting it right. And this was the U-bass take, so I'm remembering 1100 and 1102. So I'm going to close that window now that I know that. I still have to export this as a WAV file. So first, let me not be an idiot and save it. And then after that, I'm going to export it as a WAV. And we're going to call it By the River Final. Because we know it's an audio file, not a video file, so we can call it final, and that's fine. Okay, we're going to assume that it worked, that I didn't have any extraneous stuff in here. It looks good. Save before closing. It shouldn't have anything to save, but sure, why not? Okay. And then the tab, I could add the chords to the tab, but for time's sake for this live stream, I may not. But later on, I might format this tab, so like I already have the title up there. I mean, you know, this part's a C chord, F chord, G chord, right? So I might, so that's where it turns into a G chord. It's technically a G over B because of the bass notes. Maybe I won't add the chords, but you get the idea. It's pretty easy there. Then A minor here, G, A minor, G. I mean, I can show you how to add the chords on Guitar Pro. Why not? We go over to the side here. We click on the little thing that looks like a chord. I don't want the diagrams at the top, so I have display name on, but display diagram off. So that's that. So this first one, it's telling me it's a C over G. Well, we have a C note in the U bass, so I'm just going to call it a C chord, not a C over G, because bass players decide that, not guitar players or uke players. So boom, it's a C chord, darn it. Technically, if you were just playing the uke, though, they'd be right, since we have a low G uke. Then we have an F chord here. And I'm implying a G chord here. Although that's happening at the same time as that. Let's see. It's a D note. So I'm thinking the G chord really... I'm going to say it happens on beat 4, and I'm going to call it a G over B because of the bass note. G over B. And so we just copy the same things over. Unfortunately, I don't have a actually quick way to do that. So C, G over B, G slash B. That's our F. Whoa, I hit the wrong button. F. And actually, I think there's a shortcut that I can just hit the single key A, and it puts the chords over it. So this is something I didn't do on Sweet Home Alabama, which I probably should have done. But that song is mostly D, C, and G all the way through, and this one has different sections that have different chords. I mean, there's technically a couple different chords on the boo, boo, boo. I'm considering this a full G chord, even though it is technically a G5. We don't need to know that it's a G5. We just know that I'm implying a G chord. So A minor, I was already said that, and I just redid it for no reason. It's going to call this a G5, but because of the whole measure, I'm calling it just a G chord. Because why not? It'll become a G chord here. Let's do that. C, boom, boom, F. And then we've got the G on beat 4. Same thing, C, boom, boom, F, G. I know this is super exciting, guys. This is how I do it, and the final chord of the song is a C. I kind of hummed to myself to make sure I know where I'm at, to kind of like double check that I'm doing it right. You don't have to, but you can. And then after I save that, I'm like, that's cool. I don't really like that last measure is on its own line. I could make it go all the way across by going to bar, force break line, and then it does that, which is still kind of weird, but whatever, it works. And I'm going to leave it on multi-track so that you have the U bass and the U on the same page, so it's like a score. I could do them separately by taking it off a multi-track view and just picking the individual tracks and exporting them, but I just want to do it this way. So now I'm just going to go to export PDF so that I have a PDF file of it. It already exists, but I updated it, so yes, I'm going to replace it. Okay, now if you're wondering how I do tab play-alongs, it's using this program. I just, let's do this. Get rid of the this extra window over here that shouldn't be there. So view, I thought it was window, but maybe on view. Show inspector. We don't want the inspector. Boom, it's gone. I go here. And that's a good enough size. I can crop it from there. So I go to Windows G is how you get the thing that screen records in Windows 10. So it tells you which window it's recording. It's recording the Guitar Pro window. Okay. I hit the record button. And then now I click on the screen and I just play it back. And Guitar Pro is glitching. So let's save Guitar Pro, close it out. This happens to me a lot. The joys of the Omen computer, or it could be Windows. I'm not sure which, but this is why sometimes it takes longer to get the videos out, is stuff like this. Is this exciting stuff for you guys, or is this really, really boring, this part of it? Let's see. File, open recent, by the river. Now that we got it, okay, cool, we got the playback little box here. I'm going to put it up here so it's out of the way, because most people are reading the tab and not the notes, so if that's there, it won't distract them. And then I don't need that stuff at the top to be here when we do the play along, so I just leave it like this. Windows, G, screen record, Guitar Pro, cool, playback. And it doesn't record that little bar there, so you don't have to worry about it. Now we just let it play. is where I usually take a stretch break, just kind of relax, hang out with you guys. How's everybody doing? It is Windows. You don't think it's the computer. I think it's because Windows tries to run everything. Okay, that's it. It's a 40-second song. Stop the song. Game clip recorded. So I'll know that it's the longer of the two. The messed up clip just didn't work. And then there's that one. So this has been saved. I can close it now. And now we are on to opening up Vinci Resolve, the thing most likely to make my computer see the blue screen of death. So here we go. Oh, hi, Hayabusa. Good to see you. Probably still pronouncing it wrong, but Vinci Resolve, it's free video editing software that's actually pretty good, but takes a lot of space on the computer. So it might crash because of that. And this computer is supposed to be able to handle it, but it just is what it is. Some people use external drives to make it not crash as much, but here we go. So as you can see, this is 2 hours. So you can kind of see that it takes me probably between 2 and 6 hours. Oh, cool. I'm glad I got it right. So I go to Untitled Project. You can see where the other ones were. It wants me to update. Obviously, we're not going to update today. I'll update it later. So Vinci Resolve. Okay. File, import media. Down by the river, I want to look at the file size. That one's 3.5. That's too small to be the right thing. And this one is 12.4, so that's the full one. So I'm going to import that for the playback. Because the computer crashes so much, I'm going to save the project after everything that I import. By the river, short and sweet. I'm just going to title By the River. But it has 2 names. Thanks to you guys. Import media. Now I just got to figure out where the other ones are. They're usually in, well, other videos are here on the SDHC, there we go, card. So they're usually at the bottom. That last ukulele one is definitely one of them. Yet again, save project. As annoying as it is, it might make my computer crash. So I do that after every single time. You would probably not need to do that, but for me, I'm doing it. So now I need the bass one still. The bass one looks like this one's the last one, 1100. So got that, file save. Then I just need the audio files in there, and that should be everything that I need. So I go to documents. That's where I saved this. By the river, you can see a lot of the other videos are saved on there. The Bamboo bass, audio, there's a lot of things for that. And By the River should be under here somewhere. So here we go. That's the tab play. We don't need the tab play. We need the final one. And I think that's all we need. We're just going to use it twice. And I might upload this, I might upload the video next week, even though I'm doing all this now. We'll see if I upload it tomorrow or next week. I'll have to decide. But one or the other. File save. I might do it tomorrow. We'll see. So then I put the, I go down to this little editor screen, and then I load my things from the media pool up here. So I have to click back over to media pool. I'm going to put the bass line in first because I think it's helpful to line things up that way, and just bass is more important, you know, usual stuff. And then there's a count off. Great, I'm talking. Okay. So we're going to need that count off to line things up. So I'm just going to delete the part where I was talking. I hit the B button for blade. That's the shortcut that I have. I cut the two. And then I highlight these, delete it, hit A so that I can select things again. Bring it all back. You can actually set your own shortcuts. So this is the default. I just like it the way it is. So now I'm going to take the audio from this and try to line it up as best I can with that. And then you'll see when I talked about it earlier, like for some reason the audio is not actually lined up with the video here. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to delete this original audio, put the other audio next to it, and pull it back a little bit because that's usually what makes it line up. So let's see. Pretty close. know why I alternated my fingers in such a weird way. It looks like the video is slightly ahead of the audio. It is so small of a thing that I normally wouldn't try to mess with it because it's so close, but it's slightly off. So if you see things that are off on the video, that's probably why, is me lining it up here. It may not be perfect, but that's good enough for me. So I'm going with that. Now file save, because it could crash at any point. Although it's not overheating yet, so we'll see how this works. Now I got a line. This is the part that can make it overheat. Adding the ukulele on top. It's not letting me. What's going on here? That one's already on there. Sorry, this is the ukulele part. Nope. This is the ukulele part. I was trying to drag the timeline onto the thing, and that you can't do that. So that's not where I want it to be, though. So I'll go back to the beginning and then do the same thing. Okay. How much do I have to delete to get them to line up? Make sure the ukulele's in the shot. That looks like the clicks, so I'm just gonna close it here. Do that, and then you can tell by the spinning wheel of doom that it might crash at some point soon. So we'll see what happens. If it does, you get the idea of how I'm editing things. So that was using that B for the blade, Control to select just these two clips to move them back. Now I'm going to try to line the audios up as best I can, and then see how far off it is from the main audio. So now that it's close, I'm going to delete the audio from this video, hit save, because I have to save after everything. Okay, it's way ahead. So gotta slow the video down. Let's see. It's still ahead. Okay, and sometimes it tries to snap into place, so I usually take the snap thing off. But let's see if it works first. It doesn't look right, but it's really close. Can you guys tell if it's ahead or behind? I almost think it's, I moved it too far over. We'll see. So, oh, I hear the fan going. I usually wait for it to do its thing, because if I don't wait for it, it'll crash. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to guesstimate that it's too far this way and move it way further that way to see how it looks when it's off. It looks fine to me. So that's how I line up the audio. Let me see what you guys think. So close, hitting a cigar. Yeah, so to me that's fine. So then I obviously save this. So save project. So now that they're both lined up with the audio, I can go into editing different aspects of it. I almost feel like making the screen brighter. If I do function, where is the thing to make the screen brighter? So you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. So, well, that's bright for me, but anyway. Try to check it one more time. Just say, is it good enough for me? know it's late. Okay. I think it's still late, actually. Just judging by the release. I'm moving it exactly back to where it was 6 times ago. I think that's perfect. We're going to save that. But this is the thing. Sometimes it ends up a little bit off because of that. Now, I don't want the clicks at the beginning. I just want them for the play along. So I select all of these. I could just do Shift and then I'll select all of them. And then now I'll do the blade. Cut all 3. Hiya. Whoops. Actually, I'm going to use the snap tool for this because I'm not very accurate with cutting it. Now they're all snapped in the same, snapped where they're all cut in the same place. That little magnet is like the snap tool. So it makes all these uniform so that when I go and move them to the beginning, they all start at the same time. Like I cut them in the same place. Cool. So that's nice. We got that going. We're definitely going to save that. And then at this point, I'm going to go to select whichever one I want to move over. I don't want this in the middle of the picture. I want it over to the left because the high on the left and the low on the right is kind of what I'm feeling for this video, although sometimes I do it backwards. I'm not sure what I said that you're saying that's what she said about, but I'll watch the replay and figure it out. You don't have to tell me right now, it's all good. But yeah, so now at this point, if my phone's not overheating, I didn't even think about that. It's fine. Oh, cool. So I have this selected. I'm going to go to the inspector. And then from the inspector, I have the zoom probably where I want it. So I'm not going to change the zoom on this one, but I did on the other one. And I'm going to position this over to the left. See how it's stacked on top of the other video? So that's the Ubase video. So I'm going to move this all the way over to the left to where it's only taking up about half the space with the bulk of the playing part being in the middle. And then I'm going to take off this edge of the video by cropping it. So I go down here and go to cropping, crop the right, because that's the right of that clip. And see, it magically brings it over. And I'm going to bring it over until, that's probably too far. I still want my hand in the shot, so I'm probably going to bring the other one over by the position marker, moving that over even more. Okay, so that looks like that's a little bit less than the halfway point. Since we're Ubase players, we want more of the screen. Yeah. So I'm going to select the other clip on here on the timeline and do the same things. I'm going to position this one to the right by making that position number on the X marker bigger. And then we want more of the Ubase in the shot. We want to know where the nut is so when people are looking at it, they can identify where they're going. And, make as many jokes as you want to about the nut. But we'll keep going. Okay, so now we've got the video. For some reason, this looks like it's in slow motion. Do I just play that weird, fluid, weird thing going on? I look weird in the corner like that too, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. So after that, I hit File, Save. And then I usually go over here to the end of this. Let's see how this video clip ends. This is where it fades out. Hey, cool, I looked over at myself. Instead of looking at the camera, I looked over at me. And then I don't know why I look so proud of myself there. I guess because it took a long time to get the uke thing right, but that's okay. I want it to fade out right about here. We don't want all this extra stuff because we're going to get into the play along. Not lose people there. So I do that, I delete those, I save it because it's doing the thing, which makes me think it might crash soon. I fade the clip out using this little, do you see this little tiny thing that appears when I'm right near the edge? If I do it here, it'll pull the clip back, but that little tiny white tab at the top will just fade out the track. And you can also fade out the video the same way. So I bring them over so that they all fade out about the same time. We'll see if that looks right. Okay, it looks weird because I let it overlap. So that means I gotta go back to the base one and get the cropping over. So crop the left. Oops, too much. To where there's just a tiny little line in between the screen. That's good right there. And then now when it fades out, they won't overlap. Perfect. Okay, so that's how I do that part. And then now we're going to see how I do the play along. So first I add a little text thing. I go to Effects Library. I don't know why I'm making this like a total tutorial on this part, but you get the idea. This is what I do every week. Text, just the normal text one. I put it over here. I do this. I go to Title, and I go to what am I calling this? Oh, I'm just saying play along. Play along. And I like using impact. So choose that from the drop-down menu. It could be bigger. Doesn't have to be, but it could be. Boom. I like that. I'm going to fade into this, fade out of it, but make it shorter because that's just way too long of a thing. Let's see how long that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's just a little bit shorter than a count off for this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go back to Media Pool. I'm going to save things because otherwise they explode. Apparently. I'm going to put this in here, and then I'm going to clip off all the extra stuff before I hit play. So there's the first of the 4 clicks. Cut that, get rid of this. Hit A so I can scoot it. Select both of them, drag them over. Boom, back to back. Do the, well, I don't know if I want to do the fade in yet. Let's scoot these both over here. I don't want that playback because we have cajon on here, so we want this audio for our playback, not that weird tab player thing, although sometimes I use it. So here I want to line it up perfectly because it doesn't do the weird thing with the video when it's an export from a screen recording. So I'm just going to line it up to the best of my ability, get rid of this audio track, and put this one in its place, and see if it lines up when I do the playback with the thing. It's hard to see, but I can see it. It might be too bright for you guys to see. Maybe I should lower the... Oh well, you get the idea. It's just lining it up. Okay. It's pretty close. If it's not perfect, I can fix it in a second. So, file save. Then here, I'm going to drag this back so that the count in happens before it. And I'm probably going to let it come onto the screen right around the 4th click so that you guys can see what's happening before you have to play, right? Check this out. 2, 3, it fades in, boom. Okay. So file save once again, because it could explode. And then now you're like, okay, but what's all this crap? We don't have the guitar. We don't want the Guitar Pro stuff there. So we got to select just that clip, go to the inspector, and this is where the zoom does matter. So we zoom in until it's the same height, and then we use the position marker to move it over. There's still too much gray there, so I'm going to make this bigger. Doesn't need to be that big. And now you're like, ah, but the stuff that we're playing is off the screen, so we got to move the Y down. I think that's perfect. Let's see. So now that only 4 of you guys are watching still, that's the process on how I get all this stuff together. I guess that's the most boring part of it, so I understand not everybody wanting to hang around for that part. And also, geez, guys, I mean, y'all been on here for like 2 hours and 30 minutes, so good job. Thanks for hanging out all this time. So all I do at the end of that is I just add another text thing that says, you know, subscribe for more, basically the same way I added the other one. I just do the, if you want to copy my exact style, I go over here and do the middle lower third. Boom. Oh, I got to fade this out. We don't want this much stuff at the end. So let's see what we got. Right, we want to fade out right, boom, right before it recorrects and goes back to the top. So right there, cut that, get rid of these two. Hit A so I'm not like deleting anything else. Have this track fade out, have this part fade out, have the title that I just added fade in, and then now we can edit the title. So click on the title, type in thanks for watching, that's what I always say. Change that to impact, because I just like impact the best. And then now I move it down because that's too high up for me. I want it below the little video things that I add on YouTube. So y'all are gonna get this part whether you need it or not. That's cool. Okay, so if you're not worried about copyright things and stuff and you don't have a cajon, there's so many drum tracks on YouTube. If you have one of those programs that can rip the audio off a YouTube video, I would just in your description say where you got it from, like link to the video so that you're being kind to them. But if you're not monetizing it, they're not going to get mad at you, especially if you link over to it, because that just gets them more views. So if you can do that, you can download a program that converts the audio into an MP3 and just play along with drum tracks you find on YouTube. The other thing you could do is hire someone to play drums for you, hire someone to record a thing, go on Fiverr, pay someone probably something like 20 bucks to get a decent audio file of them playing drums, and tell them what kind of beat you want and what tempo. And if they're a legit person, they should be able to do a good job. So that's what I would do if you don't have a cajon. You could also download Fruity Loops or Ableton and program your own beats and, you know, drum tracks and stuff, but that's up to you guys. But that's a great question. Yeah. It's not something that I'm interested in, really. So thanks for watching. I'm going to move this down. That's way too high up. I go to the Y. I move it this way to move it down. I lined it up with where the other title ends up, and then I move the other title down too. The other title is going to say subscribe for more. For more. And once again, impact, I for impact. Okay, so I got impact, and then I think I did that right. Hopefully I did. Something seemed a little strange there. Oh well, it worked. So we got that. So that's this. And then I make my outros exactly 8 seconds because that's how long I like my end screens to be. So the way I do that is I literally just look up here and count to 8 from wherever it is. But before I do that, I make it extra long. So I zoom out, file save, because we always want to save. I make this part extra long, and then just count to 8, and wherever it stops, I shorten it to that. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 8. I pause it. And then I just shorten this to where it snaps to where that line is. And then that's the quickest way to do it. It took me a while to realize that I could do that. So then now we end up with our end screen looking like this. 2, 3, it fades out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it fades out. Boom. So now you know my entire secret formula on how I make my videos and about how long it takes with something that's not a hard arrangement. So a lot of these other arrangements are a lot harder to play. So if you add the practice time in, add the fact that it might take longer to tab it out, longer to notate it, longer to do these other things, it can take me anywhere from this amount of time, which was 2.5 hours, it looks like. It's 2 hours and 29 minutes into the live stream. It could take me all the way up to 8 hours. So just to give you an idea, if you're working on it and you get to the level of proficiency on these programs that I'm at, which is by no means a master at it, you know, very far from it, you know, I spend most of my time playing bass, not getting really great at these things. You may have noticed on that other video, The Sweet Child of Mine, I added effects. Those effects, just for the record, where I like zoomed in and did stuff on here. And I used to use iMovie, and it didn't have as many options as Resolve. I think you can download Resolve for a Mac too. So just for the record, you might want to do that. But if you highlight the clip, like let's say the ukulele clip, and I wanted to do a zoom in on it, I would cut the clip where I want the zoom. So I'd do like a blade, cut it here, cut it where I want the zoom to end so that it doesn't affect the rest of the clips. And then I could like add a, what's it called? A dynamic zoom. And so I'd click on dynamic zoom, and then it's not letting me, oh, because you have to turn it on first. So this is what dynamic zoom would look like if we don't want to do it throughout the whole thing. So let's do edit undo, because well, let's just turn it off. We don't want that. But it zooms in over time. So however long the clip is, it'll just kind of constantly zoom in. And if you want to zoom in from closer up, then you just change the zoom here. If you want to zoom in from further away, you can make it smaller on the regular zoom, and then the dynamic zoom will just start wherever you were, and it'll either go smaller or bigger, and whichever it's set to first, you just hit the swap button underneath there. So that's all I did. I just started experimenting with that for the Sweet Home Alabama video. I may have used it once before that, but it's new for me, so kind of fun. If you like nerding out about the editing stuff, it's kind of something fun to try. So any questions or comments or anything that I missed that you want to kind of restate, or I can scroll through and see all that? I don't have the cajon to do. Oh, that's funny. I like that one. WC, that's funny. Always interesting in an unpretentious format. I mean, I didn't plan for this very well, so I mean, it's all good. But that's really how long it would take me to write and record something like that. Now, they would all sound the same because I'm using very simple chord progressions and very simple kinds of things, so I'd run out of original ideas, I think. And then Hayabusa says, I use GarageBand on my iPad, but I need a vid partner programmer standalone. So, yeah, I mean, I was using iMovie a long time ago and just editing stuff that I recorded on my phone. I didn't even have this Canon M50, right? I got that in May of last year. So anything before May of last year was done on either this phone, which is a Samsung, it's the Galaxy series, but it's like the cheap one on there. It's like the J7 Star or something. And the thing I don't like about it is it constantly adjusts the lighting of the video when you don't want it to, although it seems to be pretty good on the live stream. In the camera feature it does. But it's pretty annoying. So because of that, I ended up upgrading and getting a camera, and I've been pretty happy with that. I upgraded my lighting, as you can tell by the ring light. That's a newer NEWER ring light, and then just this lamp up here, which, not the lamp shade that it's on. You like how I like repurposed a lamp shade as a stand for a different lamp. It's kind of weird, but I might upgrade that eventually now that I have a professional ring light on this side. So yeah, like I said, once I get done with this live stream, which is pretty much now, I'm gonna link up that stuff using the computer, and then I'll probably put this video up just in case I want to do any final touches. But honestly, I think it's good. I'm gonna watch through it. Oh, one thing I forgot to say. I forget to do this sometimes, and it's important for me to tell you about this. Okay. After doing all this, the thing I sometimes forget, if you ever hear my audio only coming out of one speaker and not both speakers, it's because I forgot to do this last part. So I got to click on the audio clips. You can do both at the same time, so I'm just going to select both audio clips, right-click on one of them. It says Clip Attributes, and right now if I go to Audio, it says Mono Embedded Channel 1. I'm going to change it to Stereo, and then embed Channel 1 on both sides. And sometimes I have to do that. It usually does it automatically, I think, but when I insert something from Guitar Pro, I have to do that because Guitar Pro had a stereo file. So it doesn't automatically make the other one stereo files if there's a stereo file in there and thinks you were doing that intentionally. So you have to go in and do that. I had to Google how to do that. So if you forget that and don't want to watch this whole live stream to figure that out, you can probably just search making, mono stereo on Resolve, Vinci Resolve. So that's really about it for today. I'm surprised my phone held up. I'm almost disappointed with the computer because it seems like this is live streaming about as good as that, and maybe the audio, let me know if the audio is better this way or if it's better on there. I know the video is better on there, but it is what it is, I guess. But then again, I don't have my lighting set up like I normally do. I usually turn that upper one off and have it more like this. So that's another thing. I don't really like having the overhead light when I'm recording. And then I can make this brighter or not as bright, depending on what device I'm using. So does anybody have any questions, anything they want to add, anything that's going on in your life that's kind of cool? Hey, Jake. Hey, WC Fields. Hey, Hayabusa. I don't know if everybody else is still there, but Seth, if you're still here, it's good seeing you. Scrolling through, what an exciting thing to do on here, right? And just anybody else, Burn, Peter, who else? Y'all are the people that commented the most. Navix, thank y'all so much for hanging out. Yeah, this is the longest stream ever. I hope y'all enjoy it, and I hope it works there. Jimmy, I'm probably going to end up leaving someone out if I don't go through all of them, so... Y'all commented a lot, too. That's good. Landry Base, okay. He says, do you want a copy of Pro Tools? You know what? I might get that from him. I know him, so I might get that from him. Peter, if I already said you, then I said it again, I think. But thank you guys all for watching. Let's see, who else? Giving you all a little shout out. Robert. And Robert said it reminded him of Medieval Loot. I missed that one. Petronio, I don't know how to pronounce your name, from Brazil. And James, thank y'all for tuning in. But that's about it for today. So I'll have that other video up. I'm thinking about posting it this week. Alan, thanks again. I'm thinking about posting that up later. But whoops, can't do that. And that seems like everybody, if I'm not mistaken. If I left you out, just know that it wasn't intentional. There's the first comment. And I'm going to see if y'all left any questions. Next. Seth's still here. Awesome. He said to watch those videos. I did watch that second one about, like I said, about halfway through. Oh, guys, I almost forgot one thing that we can do on editing. If you decide that that's not, like, colorful enough because of the lighting and stuff, Vinci Resolve actually has some color tools. So I sometimes go to the color wheel thing here. I select one of the clips. Right now we're doing this one. And I boost the contrast a little bit and then do whatever pivot is back the opposite direction. I don't know why I do that, but it seemed to work. And then add a little saturation so that I'm not like quite as pale looking. So if you're very pale like me, it can make you look slightly more tan. And then I do the same thing to the other clips. So I just kind of copy over what the numbers were and hope that they work. 1084. And if it doesn't work, then I adjust. Pivot was to 393. And then the saturation, I made it all the way to 63. I don't know if I'm going to do that on this one. We'll see. Let's see. Look how pale I look. I don't think it needs quite that much. That's 61. The other one kind of did look like it needed it though. But if you compare that, you can then turn it off to compare to what it looked like before. So you kind of look at how it looks now. If I take it away, it looks kind of like way duller, right? It kind of pops a little bit more. Can you see the difference? If you're closer, you can see the difference. So this is without it first. And this is with what I just did. See how it got a little bit brighter and a little more colorful? You can make it more drastic if you want. I think that's good enough. I don't think this one needed as much as some of the other ones. Although the ukulele could probably pop a little bit more if I took some time with it and did that. Cool. All right, so now you know my whole bag of tricks. And then I just go to deliver, YouTube. I title the video By the River. And I capitalize it so that I know it's the final product. And then I go down here, so 19, that's the size I want, that's the frame rate. I don't know if that is the frame rate that I want. If it has the wrong frame rate, it could mess up the way it's lined up. So I'm going to try it out this time. I'm going to change this to an MP4 so I can actually view it on a Windows computer. Add the render to the queue, save, and start the render. And now we're going to see if it messed up. So here's the thing. At the beginning of this whole process, when I take everything into Vinci Resolve, it usually prompts me, do you want the frame rate to match the clips. And it didn't. It didn't prompt me. Here, I'll add the light there. So the fact that it didn't prompt me means that it's been lining it up with the wrong rate. And when it lines up with the wrong rate, it doesn't line up when we play it back. So I'm going to see how bad it is, and if it's bad, I may have to go in and do that entire process that we just did again. So another painstaking thing about editing. Sometimes you have to do that. Although I might just be able to change the frame rate to 30 and fix it that way, but we're going to try 24 first and see what happens, and hope for the best. So that's disappointing, but it's good for you guys to know that. Looks okay so far. It's a little late, but it's not killing me. What do you guys think? Close enough? And then I watch it usually to make sure that there aren't any crazy mistakes or anything. Like for instance, if it were to try to play the lower half of here without boosting it up, it really did that right after I said that as a joke. That's just the computer, that's not the video. Okay, so I'm glad I checked that. So the frame rate problem was not an issue, which was good, but this was. So what I might have to do here is figure out where it was chopping it off. Looks like it was good there, it was good all the way through there. And for some reason here it didn't work. So the joys of editing, just so you know, this happens. So I'm going to scroll in where it's at right now. So let me go back to the editor, and it should still be highlighted in the same place. I'm going to zoom in a lot and figure out exactly where that happened. Okay, it's right here. This is fixable though. All I got to do is clip the video clip right where it changes. We'll just pretend this is okay. This is okay enough. It's not going to kill anything. So clip that, and then play all the way to where it gets all the way through the end of this line. We don't want it all the way to the last note, so we'll do that. We'll change it right here. So I'm going to clip those. So now that I've clipped those edges, I'm going to press A. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to move that up. So transform y minus 55 is now going to become, what did it just do? It's now going to become that. So I might have done it in a sloppy place, but at least now you'll be able to see everything. Let's see what happens. Does it look bad? Looks good to me. Yeah, not sloppy at all. Okay, so now we just got to check to make sure it didn't happen any other places. There's nowhere else for it to happen. Could be right there, and it didn't happen right there. All right, and this is why we double check. It's funny because usually I don't catch mistakes like that. Like there's usually not one to catch, but there was this time. So now we're going to go to File, Save, now that we fixed it, because we don't want to save everything. And now we're going to go to Deliver. And what I usually do when this happens, I do by the river, and now I'm going to write the word final with an exclamation point. And then I'm going to find something else wrong, and it's going to say Final 1 and Final 2 and Final 3. But you get the idea. I'm still going to leave it at the 24 frame rate because it seemed to work okay. Kind of weird. We'll see what happens when I upload it to YouTube, but it should work. Still set to MP4. Now we just do Add Render to Queue. It has the new one here. Start Render. And we hope that the computer doesn't overheat and explode. You'll hear the fan go crazy when it gets about halfway through. Wait for it. And then that's about it, I think. All right. Did y'all appreciate that extra tip at the end in case you're having to go through stuff like that? Okay, so I didn't try the Aclot bamboo, but I've seen it on there. And I imagine that the Kala one and that one are fairly similar. I just think Kala is going to have more, what's it called, quality control. So to me, they're more likely to not have issues with the instrument right out of the box. But I don't really know the other brand that well to be saying anything bad about them. I just know that I can trust Kala, if that makes sense. So I'm probably not going to grab that one or anything, but if I end up with one in playing range, maybe I'll make a review on it. We'll see. That looks like it completed. So now we're going to go to the videos and open By the River Final when it's ready. Videos. Let's see where it is. It's right here with the capital Final. Just a little off, but it's okay. It's late now, isn't it? But that one looks fine, which is weird. Okay, the ultimate test. So see, this ended up taking about 3 hours for such a short song. Appreciate you guys hanging on board and watching it for 3 hours. I didn't look for it, but I think it was right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Doesn't look like I made any typos. Gotta check for that stuff. Thank you guys again for watching. You know, same thing that was just on the screen. Subscribe for more if you're not already subscribed. I'm guessing all of you are subscribers. If you're here till the bitter end, you're probably all subscribers. So I appreciate you guys. So that's saved. I'm gonna hit File Save one more time just to make sure. Close out DaVinci. And now it is ready for me to just upload some stuff. So that's about it. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you guys on next Tuesday for a video. I'm debating. I might hold off to put this out until then, or I might put it out sooner. But one or the other. You'll see it pretty soon. And you'll see how the final thing turned out on the actual screen instead of viewing it from a screen to a screen. All right. Cheers, everyone. I'll see you guys next time.